Well, joined now by Mr. Eddie Olafeso, who is a former Commissioner for Information and Strategy in Ondo State. He's also a member of the Presidential Campaign Committee on Planning, Research and Strategy for the Jonathan Campaign Organization. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here again.
Well, listening to that report, I mean, the first part of it, when the governor of Akwa Ibom State was saying, look, why are they keeping quiet? So, could it be that nothing to tell?
No, it's about time to speak up. And that's the reason why the excitement in Lagos, the largest city, the third largest in the world, mega city in the world, and the largest city in Nigeria is selected for Mr. President to flag off his campaign. I think there are times for you to walk, and there are moments you have to express and let the world know what you've been able to do. In the last 4 years, the most documented president is coming for a second term. And I think those projects, those things he's done for Nigeria should speak for him. And what the Akwa Ibom governor might be referring to is the fact that we shouldn't have waited for this time in view of the propaganda machinery of the opposition to begin to speak up. So the fact remains that we're on course, and from now on, Nigerians will be hearing more of what Mr. President will have to do in addition with what he has done to move Nigeria forward. I'm excited. I've gone through, and the 4 years has not been a waste for Nigeria.
You've gone through what? The achievements?
The achievements of Mr. President.
As documented by the campaign group? Or?
Not only as documented by the campaign group. In various fora where the president discussed with Nigerians, he articulated what he's been able to do. And thrown into the public domain, asking anybody, any Nigerian, to take a look and controvert any of the points he has raised.
Yeah, but the thing is, oftentimes people say that when you've done something, your action should, perhaps maybe that's the reason why people haven't been speaking up as much as they should. Your action should speak a lot louder than words.
In a political process, you might be walking, and at the same time, you need to tell the world. And that's the reason why there's a combination of that, and that's what the Akwa Ibom governor is telling us. That you have worked very hard. Speak up about what you have done. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. We have enough time. And you see, this is the most documented generation. Wherever you turn to, you have at your fingertips everything that is done. And you can verify. This president's focus was on his transformation agenda, building a new infrastructure for this country. And within these long years, you've seen what he's been able to do. For instance, the power sector witnessed tremendous, which was acclaimed by other parts of the world, the transparency involved in the unbundling and privatizing and creating new opportunities that we can improve on our power sector that can actually drive industries and some of the economic activities of the country.
Let me come in here because I'll take you on two issues, but first,
please do.
You think the power sector is an issue that can score point for the PDP?
Not only that, but the truth remains that if you're building a virile economy, you must have to ensure that you take a look at those things. You must build infrastructure. You must ensure people are fed. You must ensure the economy is properly monitored and managed. And you must ensure that people are being put, to be able to face future challenges and compete in an enabling environment provided by the government.
For the average Nigerian, the end product is key here. If he puts up on that switch and nothing comes up, he doesn't believe that you have a process leading up to that. You talked about the unbundling.
Yes.
So the end product of all of those issues and processes should be electricity, the light up there.
Yes. While you cannot achieve 100%, efficiency at a go, I can tell you where I come from, and you can verify on radio or on telephone. Where I live in Akure, I have 22 hours of the day electricity. And in many parts of the country, you have that kind of improvement from where we're coming from. So, you see, it's going to begin to kick in. It's not a fast food joint arrangement where you take a decision today and they begin to take effect tomorrow. A lot of these are long-term plans. You fabricate, you produce, you generate power, you distribute it. It requires time for you to be able to, put all this together where you begin to see signs of development.
Means when he said, well, you people have, PDP, have not been talking. If you think that's the process or the processes leading up to the final product, I don't think
I don't think that's what he means. You have the opportunity to take him up on that. But my own is the fact that I will talk on my own experience as a Nigerian, as somebody who is benefiting from what the government is doing, rather than acting on what somebody else is saying. Which he has the opportunity to come and
I'm going to ask you about what they just said.
Yes.
And the chop, baboon chop, you know. Tell us, politics in Nigeria, when I hear the word chop, you know, what comes to mind is, well...
The chairman would be in the best position to be able to discuss this. But the truth remains that he may have had his own opinion and personal, you know, interactions, which might have led to that.
So if you were seated here...
What he meant by that might not necessarily the literary chopping. The truth is being rewarded for your actions and responsibility. And if you have worked very hard and you're not rewarded, you see, it's not about, many of us didn't go to politics to go and chop. We went there to continue our service to our nation, something we started years back.
Shouldn't that reward be for the Nigerian people?
Equally, it should be for the... Isn't the reward that you're sitting here today? That's the reward for your education and for the fact that you took all the time to prepare yourself professionally to be able to stand between Nigerians and to inform them, and government to inform them about what is happening and to begin to educate us, including people like us. That is your own reward. So I think the chairman of the party is not telling you that you have to chop in the way that we Nigerians know Ghana must go arrangement and all that. He's talking about reward. You know, if you work very hard within the party, you must be rewarded. And the truth remains that certain things happen within the party, which is not exclusive to PDP alone, that, you know, people are not rewarded according to their own input. And that's what he's trying to correct. And you see, don't let us make a mountain out of what he's been able to mention. It is the focus of the programs that this president have put in place. If I sit here for what I know, my little self, about what has been going on within this, we were born few years to independence, and we have lived through this history. Some of them wonderful, some of them not particularly too good, but as a nation, we trudged along. And within these last 4 years, we've seen certain things that provides hope for the future and an enabling environment that some of the generations that are coming behind us can begin to do far better than this moment.
Yeah, Mr. Olafeso, you know, I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but your campaign, the campaign train is going to kick off from Lagos.
Yes,
and as you rightly said, the third biggest city in the world. And, you know, you're going to be canvassing for the vote of Lagosians, which is clearly in opposition stronghold. But the question is, what exactly are you going to be selling to them?
A lot. We have 24-hour port operation. This is one of the largest ports in Africa. There are a lot of infrastructures provided for the economy. This is the nerve center of the Nigerian, the African economy. Not only in West Africa, East Africa, everywhere, the African economy.
So yes,
and
that is taken
for
granted.
Lagos has a lot. The Lagos-Ibadan expressway is under construction. There are so many other things there. How about the Murtala Mohammed International Airport? The gateway into the country is already awarded for reconstruction. There are so many other things. And not only that, how about individuals? How about in the areas of education where you have 12 new additional universities and so many other things?
Just a moment where nine are in the north and 3 in the south. At least that's what the president did say yesterday when he was trying to, you know, counter the impression that he you know, he didn't like the north or he didn't like northerners. One of the things he put forward was that, you know, how can anyone say that when 9 of the 12 newly created universities are in the north and 3 in the south? I don't know if any is in Lagos. But, you know, the thing is, for the 3 that you've mentioned, you talked about the ports, and you say that 24-hour port operation has started. Recall that only very recently there was some kind of battle between the Lagos state government and the federal government over the state of the road leading into the ports, and, you know, how long it took for that particular stretch of road, especially when you're leaving Apapa Port immediately, and also the traffic gridlock that has constantly plagued that particular road. One will wonder what exactly the federal government has done to ensure that life is a lot easier for those who need to use the 24-hour facility there.
For instance, some of these contradictions set in place were political, and it's been resolved. And you see that the Apapa Road is well under construction.
Well, the bad road was political?
I mean, yes, but some of this contention created by Lagos State government itself.
How do you mean?
That's the honest truth.
How do you mean?
And, you know, in between the process of ensuring that you construct a new road and you begin to work on them, certain things need to be done. You do the drawings, you do all the necessary engineering, segmentations, and carrying all these things out. And by the time the contract is awarded, you know, things, you know, will now be put in place, and a lot of logistics will equally be on ground. And now that we've been able to overcome all those, in some of these, the state government will say they have spent some amount of money on one part of the road that the federal government needed to refund. The federal government will come with its own men and professionals to say, look, this is not the right thing. I mean, this is not the right figures. And in the end, all this takes time. I don't have the details. I'm not an engineer, but the truth remains that the federal government is committed, and that's the reason why the 24-hour port is to encourage commerce and ensure that all those, you know, delays, you know, were put behind us. And that's one small item of this. You're talking about Lagos Apapa Road. With all the other quantums of challenges that the country is facing, I believe that at this moment and with what the the government is able to do, we have been able to overcome that, and it can only get better. It cannot get worse.